Alrighty guys, what's going on everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. Hope everyone is doing good out there. Glad to have you guys here for another video, or another live stream I should say. What's up guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Good to have you guys here. Happy Easter, by the way, y'all. Before we get into it, I want to go ahead and give a big thank you to Mark, dude, coming in with a $20 super chat before we started today's stream. I just want to go ahead and say thank you so much, man, for the $20. I really appreciate that, dude. So a big thank you goes to Mark. If you guys could, please give Mark a big thank you in the chat. I appreciate that. But what's up, guys? Let's see who we got here today. We have Mark, we have Silent, we have Tabletop, we have AJ, MP, Kyle, we have Black Label, we have Rebecca, Katie, and Jinx. Of course, everybody else who is here. But not chatting. Hope everyone's doing good. So we got a pretty big day today regarding severe weather. We do have an enhanced risk, a level 3 severe weather threat for today. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the alerts and the watches and stuff right now. We do have a tornado watch that just got issued not too long ago, but we do have a level 3 severe weather threat out there for today. So given that risk, we have the biggest concern for severe weather today being across central and northern areas of Arkansas, cutting through southern, central, and northern, really cutting into a lot of Missouri here with that level 3 severe weather threat. So this is kind of where the bullseye, the greatest potential of severe weather is going to be, as well as the strongest of the storms is expected to be. So given today's risk here, we do unfortunately have a significant tornado chance. Which gives potential for tornadoes potentially EF2 or greater. Now, looking over here at the tornado risk here, we have 3 different shades here. We have a dark green, we have a brown, and a yellow. Now, the yellow is the greatest area. This is a 10% chance probability of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile radius of a given location. Now, across the brown, this is a 5% chance probability for tornadoes, and across the green, this is a 2% chance. Now, the yellow area here, that 10% chance that we do have, this is where we actually could potentially see tornadoes EF2 or greater. This is that hatch risk zone. This is where we do have that significant tornado risk here, where once again we could see tornadoes potentially EF2 or greater. Now elsewhere, outside of that dashed line there, with that being said, these regions here is going to, likely see tornadic. If we did get tornadoes, this would likely be on the lower scale. Likely a little bit weaker of tornadoes. Like I mentioned, the significant tornadoes, the potential for those strong ones, could be, the greatest probabilities up here, up across, northern Arkansas, cutting through Missouri overall. So I want to let you guys know on that. So yeah, across the green, you have a 2% chance for tornadoes within a 25-mile radius of your location. 5% chance across the brown, and then lastly that 10% chance across the yellow. Now, damaging winds, we do have a 30% chance probability for today across portions of northern Arkansas, cutting through southern, central side here of Missouri. Potential of damaging wind gusts ranging 60, 70 mile per hour winds, or potentially even greater. could be possible. We do have a 30% chance probability of seeing that here across the, like I said, here across the red there overall. So that is that. So just a bit of a heads up there for you guys here across the red. Now, we do have that yellow 15% chance probability here still, decent potential out there for some damaging wind gusts here. And then lastly, we do have that little that brown area here, which basically is telling us, a 5% chance. So you can kind of see it's probability based here. The greatest probability here being across Missouri and Arkansas. Now, lastly, we do have a hail threat as well. Just a big 15% risk out there all the way from northeast Texas, cutting all the way up here into southeastern Iowa here with a 15% chance probability for hail, mostly 1 to 2 inches in diameter for today. So we're not expecting any significant hail today. Nothing really 2 inches or greater, not expected anyways. But we definitely could see some large hail between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. That's kind of the range of what we're expecting. So, like I said, we're not really expecting anything to be above and beyond that overall. So that's definitely good. What's up, AJ? What's up, MP? Saying hello, everyone. Happy Easter. You as well. Kyle says in Harrison, Arkansas, the winds have severely picked up. Sun has broken through the clouds. Could be a big night for tornadoes here in northwest Arkansas. I mean, yeah, we do have that pretty decent risk out there for for potential tornadic activity for central and northern Arkansas, cutting into Missouri at that 10% significant risk. Yeah, you're starting to get a lot of that advecting warm air from deep in the south, which is really kind of supplying all that moisture and that warmth to get those storms really kicking off there. So, like I mentioned, be careful out there, my friend, and like I said, just make sure you have a way to receive warnings. It's very important, very important. Tabletop Chevy Ward in Wilmington. So today's risk is not across those regions there. Tomorrow, we do not have really anything going on tomorrow, severe weather-wise. Day after tomorrow, here for let's see, this will be on Tuesday, right, day 3, in which we do not have anything major going on, but we do have a little risk out there for like Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas here for for Tuesday. It's really only today, being Sunday and Tuesday, that within the next 3 days we have to look out for. Now the extended range, day 4 for Wednesday, nothing for Thursday, Friday. Yeah, nothing in the extended range. Yeah, so it just leads us back to mostly to concern being today. Today's kind of the big risk here overall. So, anyways, let's see here. YouTube Black Label. What's up, Katie? Hope you're doing good. Hello from Virginia. What's up? What's up, Jinx? Hello from Chicago. What's up? What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Let's see here. Travis says, what about St. Louis? So St. Louis is in that level 2 threat today. We got that slight risk out there, that level 2 severe weather threat. Now, you guys are kind of in the middle threat here, 5% chance for tornadoes. In terms of damaging winds, 15% chance, and in terms of hail, also 15% chance. So, you do got a risk for potential all hazards, but, with that being said, though, there is still potential, for severe weather, so we do need you to be weather aware. But you're not in the greatest risk, but you're in that middle level, that level 2 slight risk out there. Let's see here. When he says all that went through here in southwest Oklahoma during the night, about 2 hours, southeast of Amarillo, Texas, no hail damage. That's good. No hail, no damage. I'm definitely glad to hear that, my friend. What do I think about Springfield? So Springfield's in a little bit more of a concern here. Yeah, Springfield's actually in that enhanced risk, that level 3 severe weather threat. So, that is a pretty decent risk for potential severe weather. Now, tornado-wise, we do have that 10% significant risk for Springfield. Like I mentioned, gives you a 10% chance probability of a tornado dropping somewhere within a 25-mile radius of your location. So, that's still relatively low, but like we mentioned, we definitely do need you to be weather aware because, the environment will be capable of producing tornadoes within the region here. While it is a low chance that you will get a tornado, it's pretty low. That odds is very, very low, but still can't brush it off. I mean, there is going to also be the potential for, significant tornadoes in this area too, which, some of those storms could be very strong. Some of those tornadoes could be pretty strong. So that's definitely something that we really need to look out for. So definitely keep an eye on it. But, your main concern really is going to be damaging winds here. We do have a 30% chance probability for that. So that's roughly a 1 in 3 shot. I mean, 33% would be what 1 in 3? So, I mean, you're near that 1 in 3 shot of seeing damaging winds within a 25-mile radius around you. So, just be careful. And then lastly, the 15% hail threat there as well. So, yeah, all hazards are on the table, my friend. You're kind of in the bullseye here today. So please be careful, okay? Will I be able to sleep in a general thunderstorm risk? Yeah. If you're in a general thunderstorm risk, there's really no big concern. The only time it becomes a concern is if you have a lot of lightning in your area. Given general thunderstorm risk, yes, there is lightning potential. In which, if there is lightning in the area, it's obviously safe to go indoors and stay away from windows. But other than that, nothing severe is expected in those general risk areas. Yeah, the general thunderstorm risk area basically just means, a couple thunderstorms possible, nothing severe, nothing big really expected. But then that changes once we get into that dark green. That's where we have a low end chance for severe weather. Then we work our way to the yellow, a little bit greater probability, into the orange, a decent probability. And then it goes on from there, from the level 1 to 5. Essentially. So anyways, folks, let's take a look here at the current radar. We do actually have some stuff that is popping off here now. So let's go ahead and bring you guys over here to this radar here. So this is currently the view that we have going on right now. If we take a look out there, eastern Oklahoma, we do have a lot of storms starting to develop across the way here. Now let me go ahead and bring up the meso-analysis here. Let's go ahead and bring y'all over here. Let's go ahead and bring y'all over back to this page here. So this is a meso-analysis, kind of looking at current conditions here. So you can see that low that we have centralized over portions of like northern Oklahoma going into southeastern Kansas here. That's where our central low is located. So that's where this is kind of stirring up from, essentially. And we have a lot of that warmer air pulling up to the north from the Gulf, and a lot of that cooler air kind of pulling in on the backside here overall. So that's our main driver, is that low right there. Looking at the instability, I mean, we do have a fairly good amount of fuel for storms here that is in place across, portions of Arkansas into Missouri. A lot of that instability is starting to build in up to the north here, which is going to supply those storms with the fuel it needs for severe weather and just storms in general there. So, pretty good amount of, out there of instability and whatnot. Now, looking at our lower level winds here, we actually do have a pretty strong lower level jet. A lot of those northerlies, a lot of that winds coming from the south, southerlies coming from the south going to the north here, in which, this is supplying some strong lower level wind shear. We're talking about 40, 45, 50 knots or so, which that's pretty decent. That is a pretty decent lower level jet, in which, definitely could, amplify that tornado concern. You really do need a strong jet stream, in our lower level especially, to create tornadic concern. You need that veering wind shear pattern, that change in wind directions with altitude is what really gives that spin potential out there. Now, looking over here at our mid-level winds, you can kind of see here that we do have a change in wind direction, which is needed for tornadic activity to usually occur here. So going back to our lower level winds here, you can see that these winds are pulling pretty much to the north here. And then we take a look at our mid-level flow. You can see that these winds here are kind of going to the northeast. So, we do have that sudden change in wind direction as we gain altitude, and an increase in wind speed as well, which is creating that veering motion and that tornadic concern, kinematic-wise. So, there is a pretty good amount of wind shear there. Now, looking at our photographs, you can kind of see that there is a bit of arching going on here. That's kind of indicating that spin that we were talking about. As we go up in altitude, that change in wind direction can create that spin and allow for rotating thunderstorms and whatnot. So that is that. I mean, the environment definitely looks pretty primed for that kind of activity. Now, skew T charts here, you can also see that on our wind panel here on the right hand side, our wind direction here on the lower atmosphere at this place here is kind of going to the northwest, and as we gain altitude, the wind direction kind of changes to the northeast. So once again, that change in wind direction allows for the potential for rotating storms and whatnot. So otherwise, I mean, we have a pretty good amount of instability here. I mean, the environment definitely looks pretty decent for storm activity and potential severe weather, like we mentioned. So just looking at the meso-analysis now of what's going on out here, it's pretty primed from what it looks like. So yeah, definitely got to keep a close eye out there for the tornadic concern and like I said, all hazards really today. Now let's hop over here to the future radar. I do want to pull up the HRRR here. Kind of curious to see what the latest 17 Zulu run has to show us here. I kind of waited to stream to show you guys this. So let's go ahead and hop you guys over here to the future radar here. We're going to go ahead and load up our radar. So this is going to be across the Midwest. Let's go ahead and get that loaded. So yeah, you can kind of see, right where we're at right now. Current time is 18:16 UTC. in which if we hop to the current radar real quickly, you can kind of see how we do have, a bit of storm activity firing off here in eastern Oklahoma. A little bit of multicellular thunderstorm activity going up here in northeast Texas, a little bit up here towards like Louisiana. Arkansas, a little bit of precipitation to the west, nothing super crazy right now. Got a few storms popping off in Missouri too. So, right now, we're kind of setting up ourselves up for this event here. Now, hopping on over to the models, back over here to HRRR here, you can kind of see where we're picking up now. So this is the 18 Zulu hour, which it is right now. So over the next little bit, we're going to really kind of materialize into a decent line of storms here. Now, this is the HRRR suggesting around 6 p.m. Eastern or 5 Central. And around this time, you can kind of see here that the HRRR does kind of have a long line of storms rolling through like Arkansas, rolling through like Missouri. Once again, these squall line type of setups really is usually a big concern for damaging winds. Given that we do have that 30% chance for damaging winds, that is a pretty decent risk for the potential of winds, 60, 70 miles an hour, or potentially even greater. So, given that, that line mode, that's really going to kind of let us in for quite a bit of a wind concern. A lot of straight line winds are going to be a concern. Now, unfortunately, within these squall lines, given the fact that the environment is capable of tornadic activity, there's going to be potential that we could get some rain-wrapped tornadoes. Now, for some people, you guys know what that is, but others probably may not know what that is. So a rain-wrapped tornado is essentially a tornado that develops, that's wrapped in curtains of rain, making it impossible to be able to see it. So that's just, why we got to really rely on those warnings, those tornado warnings and stuff like that to come through. Radar can see through storms. However, our eyes cannot. So don't wait to see or hear a tornado if you're in a tornado warning. That warning's there for a reason, meaning that the Weather Service has detected, the radar has detected rotation. Weather Service issues a warning because of that. So be sure to take those warnings seriously, and don't expect to be able to see all these, tornadoes if they do develop here, because once again, they could be rain wrapped, embedded inside of that heavy precipitation in the line of storms. So that is a little bit of a concern there. Now, also, like we mentioned, there is a bit of a hail concern too. The good news is that we're not really talking any significant hail really being a big problem. We're mostly talking hail, within the range of 1 to 2 inches, just outside of that significance overall. So, that is good, but there is still that hail concern, especially if you give the possibility for wind-driven hail too. It makes it just hit a little bit harder, essentially. Let's see here. How does the cap look like? So let's go and hop back over here to the model. Actually, sorry, we're already on the models. I was looking at the bottom screen for some reason. So looking at our cap here, let's go ahead and overlay the, let's do thermodynamics. We'll go ahead and pull up the, let's do a mixed layer convective emission here and do fill. We're actually going to make that, let's see here, fill, we're going to make that one color. Let's just make that white so we can kind of see where that cap is in place. So it doesn't look like there's much of a cap right now. Yeah, it looks like it's mostly an open environment from what it looks like here. You can kind of see the cap over here in the white areas here. It really doesn't look like there is much of a cap here. Also back on meso analysis too, if we hop back over here, it didn't really show much going on. In terms of that as well. Let's go ahead and bring over here to that. So, yeah, you can see there's really not much of a capping inversion, really there. Looking at our skew T's and stuff, you can see that there is no really big warm layer or anything like that. If there's a big cap, you'd usually see like a big bulge like that. But we are not. So, the environment is free to rise. Storms are free to rise here. So, that's going to allow for those storms to fire there, especially once we get that cold front rolling through. That's an active lifting mechanism, so that's going to allow for that warm air at the surface to rise into the cooler atmosphere above. So, that's that. What's up, Anthony? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Nikki says, what about Houston, Missouri? So, yeah, Missouri's in a pretty decent risk today. Let me check on Houston, Missouri. I'm going to pull this up for you real quickly. Houston, Missouri. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, you're in that level 3 threat. So yeah, you do have that enhanced risk out there. that does give you a 10% chance for tornadoes. So within a 25-mile radius around you, so around you within 25 miles of you, there is a 10% chance of a tornado dropping. So there is that potential. There is going to be potential for some tornadic activity within the area. So please be weather aware. Please keep an eye out there for the storms here. So that is a 10% chance. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there's a 10% chance of a tornado falling in that area. And like I mentioned, it is a hatch risk out here, meaning that there is potential that tornadoes could be quite strong, perhaps maybe EF2 or greater. So that's something we need to look out there for as well. Then also we do have that 30% chance for for damaging winds, potential for gusts mostly between 60 to 70 miles an hour, but could be a little gusty. 30% chance of that occurring within a 25-mile radius around you. So decent chance for wind. So please be careful on that too. Then lastly, we do have a 15% chance out there for hail, ranging mostly 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So once again, all hazards are a concern out here. So we definitely do need you to be weather aware, Nikki. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, okay? Let's see here. Do I think that northern Indiana has a possibility at thunderstorms later tonight on future radar? So given our outlook here, you said for where? Northern Indiana. So we do have a generalized thunderstorm risk across the entire state of Indiana for today. Now, hopping on over here to the future radar, just to kind of get a peek at what HRRR suggests here overall. So let's go ahead and hop you guys back over here. So it kind of does. You can kind of see here, this is roughly getting towards midnight. So this is very, very, very late evening here. This is right around 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central. It kind of shows, HRRR kind of shows a little bit of, thunder showers and some storms kind of rolling through here. Thankfully, by the time, though, that this line kind of approaches here, essentially, a lot of that potential kind of falls apart here. Let's go ahead and bring up our 12 Zulu run here, kind of see. You can definitely see that we do build in some instability, but honestly, really not a whole lot of fuel is really left over. Yeah, a lot of the fuel you can see here is going to be across, like the Arkansas, throughout like Missouri, and by the time that storm kind of approaches, a lot of that fuel kind of dismantles and kind of falls apart a bit. So there's really not a lot of fuel for storms out there. But yeah, given that though, there definitely could be some thunderstorm activity later this evening. Let me grab a SKU-T here. Let's see what we got going on from HRRR. Given this environment, we could have some convection going on there. Got to watch out for a little bit of that cap, though. There's not much of a capping inversion, but there is a little bit, which could, prevent some storms from happening. But given HRRR, it does show that the environment could definitely produce some storms, in which, we'll have to see how that goes. But anyways, once again, what's up, Anthony? Hope you're doing good. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. But yeah, looking back at the HRRR here, you can see that, by the time we approach now, essentially, which we did look at on meso analysis, we definitely do build in a pretty good amount of instability overall. The environment definitely is primed for, for really all hazards of severe weather here. Looking over at our the sounding out here, what was this, in Missouri, I think it was, you can kind of see in our lower mid-atmosphere, mostly lower atmosphere, you can see we do have a spike of dry air between 850 and 700 millibar height here, with a bit of instability there too, and pretty decent wind shear. So that's given me a bit of a hail concern there for one. And we do have a little bit of arching, a little bit of veering wind shear going on. So the winds are, slowly changing directions with altitude. Because of that, that does kind of, give a tornado concern, of course, as well. And then, of course, damaging wind potential given strong lower level winds and stuff like that. So, we'll have to definitely look out there for really all hazards like we mentioned here. But let's hop back over here to back to the radar here. I want to pull that back up for you guys so you guys can kind of see that. So Anyway, so yeah, we really start to develop a lot of storm activity here. I mean, really at any time here. HRRR, as we approach our way into the evening, you can kind of see really has a long line of storms kicking off out there. We're talking storms all the way down from Texas, cutting through Arkansas and Missouri, and hopping back over here to the SPC outlook. You can kind of see where the greatest concern is, and that's across Arkansas and Missouri. So. If you guys have any, like I said, if you guys have any zip codes you want me to take a look at, feel free to throw them down in the comments here. And if you guys could, if you haven't already, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated. And also, if you guys could help share this this channel as well, it'll be greatly appreciated. That way we can help out as many people as possible, because we're here for you guys. We're here to help out, and like I said, we got y'all. So if you guys have any questions, like I mentioned, don't hesitate to ask, because we're here for you guys. I want to help you guys out. That's the entire point of these streams here, is to help out. So we got you guys. All right, Chandler, I got you, my friend. Let's go ahead and take a look at your area. Let's see what we got going on. I'll let you know the timing too if you guys want me to. So for you, Chandler, you are in that enhanced risk out there. So yeah, you are in that level 3 severe weather threat here. Now, given your risk, tornado-wise, you do have a 10% chance for tornadoes. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there's a 10% chance probability of a tornado dropping, somewhere within that radius, which, if you still think about it, it's a relatively low-end risk, but can't rule it out. So keep an eye out there for that. Just keep an eye out there for tornado warnings. If you end up getting in one, obviously seek shelter. Don't ignore it. There is a 10% chance of that happening within a 25-mile radius around you. Now, given that is a hatch risk, potential for strong tornadoes can't be ruled out either. Damaging winds, we do have a 30% chance probability for that. So once again, within a 25-mile radius around you, 30% chance probability for gusty winds, mostly 60 to 70 miles an hour. Then lastly, we do have ourselves a hail risk here too. A 15% chance out there for hail, ranging, essentially 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So all hazards is a concern. Try not to worry about it. I know you're a little nervous about this. Like I said, you'll get through it. It'll be all right. We'll get through this. But yeah, just be weather aware. And obviously, if warnings do get issued for you, take them seriously. Seek shelter if you're in a tornado warning, definitely need to seek shelter. If it makes you feel better, Chandler, map out where you would go in case if there was like a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning that was, significant enough. Make sure you know where to go. If you have a basement, if you have a storm cellar, that's where you'd want to go. If not, go to the central interior portion on the lowest floor of your home. And if you're in a trailer, ditch the trailer if there's a warning and go find a sturdier structure. Now, if it makes you feel better, if you want to, as the storms approach, as the storms go over you, you can even hide out in your safe spot, as the storms roll through, just so that it makes you, hopefully it'll help you feel a little bit better. If you can, go to your safe spot when those storms happen, hopefully that'll help a bit. And also, I'd recommend listening to music or something too, as the storms do hit you. Just make sure you can hear warnings and stuff like that. But yeah, just try to find ways to relax your mind. But yeah, so it looks like storms are going to be rolling through here fairly kind of late afternoon, early evening, essentially. So the HRRR here, which we're going to hop back over to the models, it kind of suggests essentially around 5 p.m. roughly, anywhere from 4 to 6 Eastern. So that would be 3 to 5 Central. So your time, it would be roughly between 3 and 5 p.m. Now, take that lightly. The models are not perfect, but they give you an idea. Between 3 and 5 is kind of when it looks like we're going to be getting some storms out there, okay? And like we mentioned, this is kind of a long line of storms. And essentially what's going to happen here is that once this line goes over you, once that line passes over you, the threat for severe weather pretty much diminishes because, we start to get a lot of that, stable air building back in from the backside and everything like that. So, that is that. That is definitely that. So, remember, it's just kind of a one-hit-and-done type of, setup here overall. Let's see here. Ian wants me to take a look at the zip code. I got you. Like I mentioned, guys, if y'all have any zip codes you want me to look at, I will be more than glad to help you guys, all right? So you, my friend, you are in that level 2 threat, I believe. Let's go and hop you guys back over here. So you That puts you in a slight risk here. Yep, so you're in at level 2 severe weather threat. Now, tornado-wise, we do have ourselves a 5% chance for tornadoes. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there's a 5% chance of a tornado dropping, within that radius there. So, there's a relatively low-end chance. That's just outside of the significant risk area, too. So tornadoes, if they did occur, would likely be on the lower scale. Now, in terms of damaging winds, we do have a 15% chance for damaging wind gusts, potentially ranging 60 to 70 miles an hour. And in terms of hail, we do have a 15% chance as well for hail, ranging kind of between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So thankfully, like I said, for today, for the entire risk area here, we're not really expecting significant hail, nothing really 2 inches in diameter or greater. We're not expecting that. Most of the hail, I'm not saying it's going to be impossible for it to happen, but we're not expecting it to happen. In terms of hail, like I mentioned, we're mostly going to be seeing that range between 1 to 2 inches in diameter across the entire outlook area here. So that's that. Damaging winds, once again, mostly 60 to 70. Potential for higher gusts, wouldn't be completely impossible. And then lastly, tornadoes, across that yellow there, we do have that hatch risk overall. That is that. But yeah, so be careful out there, man. You're not in the greatest risk. You're kind of in that middle risk area. You're in that level 2 severe weather threat. So, keep an eye out there for it, okay? And if a warning gets issued, make sure that you, make sure you go to your shelter accordingly, okay? All right, let's see here. Team Kenny says, how does St. Louis look later? Will it be bad in my opinion? So St. Louis here, we do have a 5% chance for tornadoes. So now your risk overall, we do have a level 2 slight risk here. That's a level 2 out of 5 severe weather threat. So, it's still kind of a lower risk, but it's, like I mentioned, regardless of whatever level risk it is, it's still an active risk for severe weather, and therefore, you should still monitor the situation. Now, you're in a level 2 threat. Now, that gives you a 5% chance for tornadoes. So, once again, within a 25-mile radius around you, 5% chance probability of a tornado dropping, within that radius. In terms of damaging winds, we do have a 15% chance probability out there for damaging wind gusts, ranging mostly between 60 to 70 miles an hour. So that is going to be a possibility here, 15% chance, and also a 15% chance for hail, 1 to 2 inches in diameter here. So that is what we're looking at. Okay, let's see. Will it be bad in my opinion? So, given the risk here, there is always that potential for a little bit of severe weather nearby. I want you to remember, though, not everybody in the risk area will see severe weather. Not everybody will, okay? So remember that. Now, I'm not saying you should brush it off or whatnot. You're going to be getting your storms fairly late. Now, it kind of looks like HRRR kind of suggests anywhere from 9 to 11 p.m. getting those storms eastern. So, but since you're in central time, that'll be anywhere from 8 to 10, roughly. Anywhere from 8 to 10 p.m. is kind of when you can expect to see some of those storms roll through. And once again, like I mentioned earlier here, this is just kind of a one-hit-and-done type of line here. You just get essentially one big round of storms, and then once that round is over, then, your threat for severe weather is pretty much gone. Because, once again, we build in that cooler, more stable air mass, that builds in, and, of course, allowing for things to stabilize, which is good. So, yeah, that is that's certainly good. That is certainly good. All right. Jinx says, can I do a timeline for the zip code? I just want to know. Yeah, I got you. You want me to just do specifically a timeline, or do you want me to do your risk outlook too? Jinx, let me know in the comments if you could, but let me check up on your area. We'll do your timing first here. So you're up in northeast. Actually, you know what? I can just tell you right now, you're not even in the risk here for severe weather. You're in a general thunderstorm risk here. So you, my friend, you're in that level 0. Severe weather risk. So you're in that generalized thunderstorm risk. Now that does give you potential for a couple thunderstorms. Now I kind of see why you wanted me to look at the timing. So let me check. Let me check on that for you, my friend. Let's see. So let's hop back over here to that. So according to HRRR here, you guys can see the time in the bottom right there. So we approach our way down in time. It kind of looks like we could get some showers and maybe some storms developing late evening going into early morning. It looks like a lot of that should be out pretty much by sunrise. So kind of late evening going into the early morning hours is kind of when you have the potential for a bunch of scattered storms, developing here. But, once again, nothing significant, nothing severe out here, which is good. I just don't think we have really enough fuel for those storms to really kick off there. That's pretty bit of a capping inversion there too. We definitely do have some pretty strong wind shear here, but like I mentioned, the fuel's not really much. There's not much fuel essentially. All right, let's see here. Anthony says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everybody. Let's show a little love. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Renee says, hey, Andrew, what does the week look like for Ohio? Gotcha. I don't think we have anything going on in Ohio, really. Let me check. Let me hop you guys back over here real quickly. So your zip code... Okay, so you're up in southwestern Ohio. Gotcha. So today, at least, we do not have any risk for severe weather. We do have a general thunderstorm risk out there. Potential for a few booms of thunder. Can't be ruled out. Nothing big. Tomorrow, same thing. Potential for a couple thunderstorms. Nothing severe. Working our way over here into Tuesday. Same thing. So, we have nothing in the extended range either. So, Renee, honestly, we're looking good. No severe weather expected there anytime soon. Yeah, no problem, Team Kenny. What's up, LWX? Saying, hey, how does zip code look? Possible upgrade. Let me check. Hope you're doing good, my friend. All right, let's see. So you up here in Missouri. Okay, so you're actually in that level 2 threat. So you're in that slight risk out there for severe weather for today. So you're kind of in the middle risk here overall. So obviously, be weather aware today. Tornado probability puts you in a 5% chance. You probably know what that is, but within a 25-mile radius around you, 5% chance probability of a tornado dropping. In terms of damaging winds, we do have a 15% chance. Winds are going to be mostly gusting between 60 to 70 miles an hour. So, 15% chance of that occurring within a 25-mile radius around you. And then lastly, also a 15% chance out there for hail. Overall, mostly between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. Now, you asked for if I was wondering if it would get upgraded. I don't think it'll get upgraded, and the reason is because a lot of that instability starts to wane down as that storms kind of approach you. Therefore, most of the fuel, most of the instability will be just west of you, where we do have that level 3 threat. So by the time the storms do get to you, overall, the instability or the fuel in the atmosphere kind of, runs out, essentially. Let me even show you that real quick. Let's hop over here to HRRR. So, you can just kind of see the shape that the line is in, how it's really well defined, over here across, central Missouri, later on this evening. And then, of course, as the storms kind of approach you, this is going to be after sunset, essentially. Right around sunset, slightly after sunset, whenever that set of line of storms kind of rolls through, you can see it's not as well defined, essentially because it's starting to run out of that fuel. Now, looking over here back at the instability, which I'll go ahead and show you now, we'll also overlay the radar too, because actually, hold on, let me go ahead and put that up there for you. Bring up our composite reflectivity. Go ahead and fill that in on top so you guys can kind of see the storms on top of that too. I'll also make this where it's kind of blending through so you can kind of see where those storms are. Anyways, so LWX for your area though, like we mentioned though, we do have a lot of instability that's building into the region here right now. And even over you, there's a pretty good amount of instability, but there's really no source of lift allowing for storms to initiate. That's what that line is though. That's kicking up those storms. Now, by the time the line approaches you and we get that lifting source, you can see the instability does kind of run out. It doesn't run out completely, but it thins out a lot. So, once again, I don't think you'll get an upgrade, to be honest, because of, how the line kind of starts to fall apart a little bit. Still potential of severe weather, of course, but it starts to lose a lot of its energy in overall, and therefore I don't think it will be an upgrade for you. Yeah, I think that I think we're going to keep it where we're at right now. I think that's probably the best bet from what I see anyways. Hydra says, how is Northwest Arkansas look like right now? So right now, let's take a quick peek at the radar here. We do have a little bit of that line starting to develop out here. I'll go ahead and bring you guys over here to the main radar. You can see, so this is currently what's going on now. You can see up in eastern Oklahoma, we have that line starting to develop here. Northwest Arkansas, we do have a little bit of showers starting to develop. Nothing really too crazy happening right now. Let me turn on those warnings real quickly. Let's see here. So we do have a tornado warning. And, oh, this is observed too. Where's this at? Where is this? Hold on a minute, y'all. Oh, this is up in Missouri. Here, let's go and hop you guys back over here. Let's see here. Thank you so much. Happy Easter. May end up chasing day. Yep, you as well. Happy Easter to you as well. And if you do, be careful, okay? But you're very welcome. Yeah, we got a confirmed tornado out here. Look at this. This is up here in Missouri, kind of east central Missouri. This is out by Kingdom City, Fulton. Let's check up on that. Confirmed tornado was located 5 miles north of New Bloomfield, or 7 miles east of Columbia Regional Airport, moving northeast at 40. Law enforcement confirmed it. Let me check velocity here. Let's see what we got going on. We're going to backtrack 14 frames here, too. We'll get a little bit of a past view of what was happening. Oh, yeah. You know what? You can kind of see it there. Out by New Bloomfield. See that little area of rotation? Ooh. Yeah, that was pretty tight there for a little bit, too, it looks like. Since then, it doesn't look as well-defined, but... yeah, I mean, you can definitely see where that was. Let me check up on CC here. Any debris signatures from it? Let's see. Does this overlay with the velocity? Here, I'm going to need to check on my other radar here. Let's use this one. Okay, so there it was, right there. And then it got warned. It's kind of hard to tell. We do have some high velocities over that. That could have been a brief debris signature there. It's kind of hard to tell, man. It kind of is. But anyways, regardless, it has been confirmed, though, from law enforcement. So it is on the ground here. So that includes New Bloomfield. It kind of already that rotation's kind of passing north of New Bloomfield now. Millersburg, Kingdom City, and Oxavassy. You guys are in a tornado warning there, so be in your shelters there. Yeah, once again, this was confirmed by law enforcement there. Let's check up on. We have a couple severe thunderstorms here up in the border of northeastern Oklahoma and southeastern Kansas here. We have a bit of a line kind of rolling through. 60-mile-an-hour winds, penny hail. 60-mile winds, penny hail. Yeah, so penny hail's nothing really big, just mostly gusty winds in the line there. We're going to see probably a lot of that today. You know, this evening I might do some coverage for the nocturnal part of the event. So, y'all, later tonight, I'm going to shoot to go live for you guys again. To do some coverage tonight. I'll probably go live around maybe 8 p.m. Eastern, roughly. I know a lot of the big stuff will be over by then, but or starting to wane down around that time. So I'll go live for you guys then. That way I can do some nighttime coverage because I'm always that nocturnal streamer. I always like to cover the night stuff. So. Anyways, you too, Renee. Happy Easter to you as well. Roby says, plenty of rain here in Neosho, Missouri. My neighbor's driveway in the middle of the road. Huh? Oh, is there a lot of rain there in your neighbor's driveway? Wow. Goodness, yeah, I can't relate to that, I tell you. It's been so dry in Florida. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy. What's up, MD? Saying afternoon, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. Yep, you as well. What's up, Scott? Hello, or hi, Andrew. Hi, and everyone else. What's up? What's up, Scott? Hope you're doing good, my friend. But anyways, so yeah, you can kind of see that line starting to materialize now. But right now, it's kind of a bit of a concern in mostly just straight line winds right now. So that is that. Don't see much rotation going on, which is good. There's a lot of strong velocities, though, on those upper scans. I mean, like I said, our jet stream's pretty strong. Pretty strong. I mean, looking back at meso analysis here, we got a low area of low pressure really kicking up here across Oklahoma, out there by southern Kansas. Like I said, kind of the driver of all this madness here. Lower level wind shear, like I mentioned, it's pretty strong, though. I mean, we do got like 40, 50 knots or so of lower level wind shear. Going to the north too. Southerlies going to the north. And then, like we mentioned here, if our mid-level wind shear, I mean, it's pretty quick. We got a lot of that change in wind direction with altitude. You can see that's going northeast. So I mean, with that being said, we do got some pretty strong winds here. But yeah, that line is definitely starting to kick off here. Do have a bit of hodograph hooking here, a bit of curvature to our hodographs, really indicating that veering profile. Yeah, really good wind shear though, I'll tell you. Yeah, our kinematics are pretty on point today. Then, like I mentioned, our instability here, we got a good 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram across Arkansas. Mostly less than 1,000 across Missouri right now. But that'll increase as we go up through the evening. Yeah, we'll be covering tonight around 8 p.m. or so. Like I mentioned, a lot of the big stuff will be over at that point, but it'll be nighttime coverage we'll have to do. So I'll make sure to be live for you guys then. Yeah, nighttime coverage is very important, and so I always like to try to make sure if I can stream at nighttime because it's definitely needed. That's for sure. Anyways, folks, well, I'm going to take a few more questions if you guys have any, if you have any zip codes or anything like that. Then we're going to roll off here once again. I'll cover later tonight. We got a new tornado warning here. Let's take a look at that. But yeah, if you guys have any comments any questions, throw it down in the comments or the chat there, and we'll help you guys out as much as I can. But if you have any zip codes, anything like that, before I head off here, ooh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's some pretty decent rotation there. You guys can see that couplet. That's heading right towards Smithville, Oklahoma. If you know anybody out there, give them a heads up. Tell them to go to your shelter now because there is some rotation kind of working its way over there. Same thing for Octavia, Oklahoma, including Zafra and Page, Oklahoma. Y'all need to be in your shelters, okay? What's up, Overbuilt? Saying Andy, thanks for the weather. Yep, no problem, man. No problem at all. Yeah, we're also getting a new severe thunderstorm warning developing. This was here a minute ago, but we haven't talked about it really. This one's for penny hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, so it definitely looks like we are starting to pick up activity here. Also, we just got a new severe warning here to the north. So this is up in northeast Oklahoma by Kansas. In Oklahoma, a town called Kansas is in a severe thunderstorm warning. Twin Oaks, Cloud Creek. Let's see here. Maysville, Sulphur Springs. Cheryl says we missed you last night. It's so scary in Texas. No, I'm sorry. I couldn't be there. I try to make it, but, some days I can't, unfortunately. But I'll be here tonight, though. But I'm glad to see you're okay, Cheryl. All right. See you later, Anthony. Thanks for joining, man. Let's see here. Overbill, I appreciate it, man. I don't have a P.O. box, though. But, all right, everybody. Well, I'm going to roll off here now, guys. Once again, we'll be on tonight, roughly around 8 p.m. or so. I'll set an alarm, so I'll set up our stream around 7 p.m. or so. So, hope to see you guys then. Once again, if you guys could, leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you guys could, take the link to this live stream, share it to your friends and your family. Tell them to subscribe. That way that they can stay on top of the weather and stuff like that, too. It'd be greatly appreciated. But, all right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your nights. And we will see you guys here later on tonight. But, all right, everybody. Y'all be safe out there. Stream's going to head off here in approximately 1 minute. So go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. And, all right, everybody. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.